Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful crochet bunny basket. It's such a cute way to store toys in your nursery or kids room, and it whips up in just a couple of hours. Materials you'll need: 2 of these bobbiny 5mm braided cord. I use the colour sand, and you just need for the bunny face some black thread or wool. So I'm just using Paint Box Simply Super Chunky, a 10mm crochet hook and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. Right, we're going to take our yarn and make a magic circle. So we're going to go across our 2 fingers like this, and then 1 more loop and another loop. So you've got 3 loops, and then you're going to hold this piece of yarn with your thumb and little finger, and then pop your hook through these 2 and pull the first one through, so it looks like that. And then you're going to put your hook over the top of the 2 loops and pull a loop of this one again, and then pull it through that first loop that you made. Alright, so you now have your magic circle and you're ready to start working into the circle. And you're going to work 8 single crochet into the circle. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop and single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so you should now have something that looks a bit like a donut, and it's got 8 stitches on it. So we're just going to count, and the first stitch might be quite difficult to see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now we're not going to slip. We're going to just go straight into that first stitch again, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch around. All right, so we'll just go in here, pull up a loop and single crochet. That's 1. And as we've done 1 in this next round, so this is round 2, we're gonna pop our stitch marker on so we don't forget where we are. Because it's quite thick, I'm just going to kind of put it through like that. Okay, there's 1, 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2, 1, 2, and in the next stitch you're going to do 2, 1, 2, and the next stitch we're going to do 2, 1, 2, and then in the next stitch 1, 2, and the next stitch 1, 2, next stitch 1, 2, and the next stitch 1 and 2. Alright, now what you're going to do is just pull on this tail here and push down on your donut, and then you should be able to close the circle here. Like that. Alright, and then what I like to do is just quickly take my hook out, make sure you've got a long loop here, and just lose this in your work, so you don't have to worry about him anymore. Okay, and then I'm just going to chop that bit and I'm happy. Alright, that's nice and neat. Then we're going to turn our work back over and just make sure that we do have 16 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Excellent, we've got 16 stitches and we've done our first 2 rounds. Now we are going to do 1 crochet in the first stitch, so 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next stitch, okay? And this will gradually increase the bottom of your basket. And for this round we are going to do not single crochet in these first stitches here. We're not going to go as we normally do, but we're going to go into these V's here, okay? And that's just going to give it a more robust look to it. Rather than being floppy, it's going to make it a bit more robust. So I'm going to take this off because that's the first stitch. So instead of going into the first stitch, which is here, this little one here, we're going to go into the V that's underneath that stitch, which is this one, okay? We're just going to go through the middle of the stitch and everything else is going to be the same, all right, as single crochet. So we're not going to do this. Instead of that, we're going to go into here. See where that V is? So we're going to go right in like this. And then pull up our loop. Just like normal, and then we're going to pull through those 2, just as we normally do, okay? And because you're increasing, so we can see that's our first stitch, and because we don't want to get lost, I am going to pop a marker in there. Alright, so that's our first one done. And then the next one, see, is this V here. And what you are going to do is go into this V but twice, because you're all increasing, okay? So this is the second stitch and you're going to go and do 2 single crochets in this stitch into the V, and you can call it a waistcoat stitch because it looks a little bit like a little waistcoat. Don't know why, but I just call it a V stitch sometimes. Okay, so that's 2 V's, so that's our first stitch, and these are our second 2 stitches here, all right? And they'll even up as you go round. So you want to carry on going 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. So our next stitch is going to be here. And then we've got 2 in the next one. And then 1 in this next one. 2 in the next one. One in the next one. 2 in the next one. 1 in the next one. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, so that's completed your third round and you will have 24 stitches. You finished round 3 and you are now going to increase again. Alright, so instead of 1, 2, 1, 2, you're going to do 2 stitches and then 2 in the next one, and we're still going to go into these V's. And can you see how that's creating a nice sort of closer effect than this, which you've got a little row of holes here, but that's okay because that's the middle of the circle. All right, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the second, and then 2 single crochets in the third, and that should come out as 32 stitches. All right, so let's go for our first one. 1, and then we'll put our marker on. That's 1, and then another single crochet, and then 2 in this next V. 1, 2. So there's single crochet, another single crochet, and then 2 in the next V. Another single crochet, another single crochet, and then 2 in the next. Another single crochet, another single crochet, and then 2 in the next V. Another one, and 1 in the next stitch. One, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Lovely, so we should have now 32. Now we're going to work up to 40. So we're going to take this out and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 2. 3 and then 2 single crochets in 1. Looking so pretty already. Okay, so we have the first V is here. So we're going to go 1 single crochet, and that's the first one of our new round. And then another one in the next stitch, and then another one in the next stitch. Okay, so you've got 3 single crochets in 3 stitches, and then on the 4th stitch you're going to do your double again. So 1 and 2. And then go back to your 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets in 1, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets in your last stitch. One, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets in this one. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 2 in the next one. 1, 2, 3, and 2 in the next one. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. We have a round of 40 now. Okay, now you can make the basket as big or small as you like, but I'm going to do another couple of rounds. And for this, we are going to use the same technique, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the double stitch. Okay, and then we should end up with 48. Three, 4, and 2 more in this one. Excellent. Okay, right, we're going to do one more round, and instead of every 5th stitch, we're going to go every 6th stitch. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 stitches, and then that will form the base of our basket. So the first one is going to be our single crochet. Mark that stitch. We are at the finish of the base. Okay, so I'm just going to check. We should have 56 stitches around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. So we've got 56 stitches. Now what we're going to do is we are going to flip over the base like this, and we are going to just shape this up a little bit. When you work up, it's going to be in waistcoat stitches as well. So this is going to be your first stitch, but you're going to do 56 stitches around. Okay, so we're going to carry on with this number of stitches, and all you can do is single crochet all the way around, starting with this one. So we're going to do I'll do my first stitch with you. That, and we're gonna mark that stitch. So that's stitch 1, and we're going to do 56 stitches around. That's the first stitch, and you're just going to go around in every V-stitch along here. Alright, you're going to have a piece that looks a bit like this. It's very tough, and you want to just shape it up a little bit like that. And as you start doing more rounds and more rounds, it's gonna start coming up like this. So you can decide on how tall you want your basket. I'm going to do 6 and then see if I'm happy with mine. So all you've got to do is, this is the first stitch, just carry on around. If you do six rows or 6 rounds, and I'll meet you back here when you've done 6 Right, so we've done 13 rounds, and as you can see, it's looking really nice and tidy, and it's looking like a basket. It is a basket. So well done, you've made your basket, and we've got to the end of the 13th round, and we're gonna just fasten this off, okay, and then make the ears. All right, so how I normally fasten it off is I cut this tail, pull through like that, so making sure it's just one tail like this. Okay, you can take your stitch marker out now, and then all you're going to do is, just to make it neat, I'm going to fake a stitch. So where it goes down here, I'm going to pop my crochet hook through, pull that out, and then in this stitch I'm going to pop my hook through and pull it through again. So you have kind of finished off the top of that and it looks like another stitch. And then you can do that again just to secure it. And then you want to start taking that down and losing it into the basket. So you're going to just pull it through again like that, and when you're happy with where it is, now we've got it on the inside, you've got this nice neat stitch here, so you don't want to make this untidy, so just pop it through one of these, and then just to be safe, another one. Okay, you're going to have an end, and then just chop that off like that. See? Nice and neat. You can take it right down to the bottom of the basket and then it definitely won't show. And then this is the place where I normally, if I put a tag on this, you can find like handmade with love, or I don't know, your brand name. You can add the tag here, and then that will definitely not show as sort of being a little bit uneven or anything. It looks nice and neat. Now we've got these bits here where you joined your other piece. Just gonna pull that one through here. All right, so they're nice and neat now. We can chop those, and that will just give it a nice neat look on the inside. All right, okay, so we've got our basket. You can leave it at that. You can put some handles on it. This is just a nice basket in its own right. But we're gonna add some cute ears and a face to make it a bunny. Yeah, so I'm gonna pop this to the side and we'll make our ears separately. And for the ears, you're going to make a slip knot. Pop your hook in, pull tight, and then you want to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to single crochet 9 in the second chain from the hook. So that's 1 and this is 2. So in this chain you are going to single crochet 1, and instead of going here, you're going to go in the back of the stitch here, and that will just make it a little bit more rigid and tougher. Okay, so single crochet 1, and then you're going to do that in every stitch along. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this this little tiny bit here is where you're going to put your hook for the 9th one. And if it twists, it's absolutely fine. It's just because you've got quite a tight stitch on that, and it's kind of will add character to your ear. Okay, so we're now going to chain 1 and turn. Chain 1, turn our work. And in row 2, instead of single crocheting into the first stitch here, like you would normally do, second chain from the hook, you see these, I would say V's, but they're actually A's. So there's a V here, okay, and then you've got this kind of A, or it looks like a kind of start of a stick man with a big tummy. And you're going to do 8 single crochets into each of these. Go into this first A. And then do 1 single crochet, okay? And then do that again. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the 8th one was just here. Put your hook in there, pull through. There you go. So you've got your second row there. This is going to be the base of our ear. And then you're going to single crochet into that space at the end. So just here, do just a single crochet. Now we're going to build our ear up and make it a little bit pointy. So we are going to chain 2. And then see this little bit here, I'm going to slip into the top of here, slip stitch. So we go in with our hook, pull through, and then pull through again. And then we just created a little tip for our ear, and then we're going to go back down. So we won't turn our work, we're going to single crochet into where these V's are, here, the opposite stitch. So we'll single crochet into here, where this V is. And this will just finish off our ear going down at the bottom. And we want it to be kind of opposite to these ones so it looks nice and neat. So that's this first V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then to finish it off, just single crochet into this space here. Okay, just to make sure it goes right down to the end. I'm just going to slip into this bit here, and then that will finish the ear off. Nice and neatly. Okay, so we've got our bunny ear, and don't worry if it twists a little bit. We're going to sew this onto the basket, so we're going to put a tail of around 20 centimetres. We're going to pull this loop out. Oh, so satisfying. And then, because it's a bit of a chunky one, we'll just pull that a little bit. And then we're going to leave that with the tail on it, and we're going to do this ×2. So go back to where I first started this ear and watch again and just do exactly the same again. up sewing the ears slightly differently to what you saw just then because I wanted to cover these bits and it kind of holds them up a bit better. But you can sew them however you like, and then you can kind of play around with them. Ta-da! They will stand up, and you can also, if you want to, you can put wire in the back of them to really make them stand up. Just make sure that you don't have any exposed wire. But I think they kind of look cute floppy anyway. So there we go. Now we're going to do our face. You can totally leave it like this, it's lovely as it is, but I'm going to put some eyes on here, and I'm just going to use some black and just guide it through with my hook that I've already been using. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 down. I'm going to just pull this through. I'm going to pass it through twice and then kind of puff these bits out so they look a bit circly, not too big. And then I'm going to tie these up. Hello! I'm going to do a little cross. Okay. Cute. There you go, and then just tie that back up at the end. There we go. How adorable. Your own bunny toy basket. Beautiful. I love this so much. I'm so glad that you're following along with me. And if you'd rather have the pattern, it's actually on my website, so I'll link that below. And if you like this video, then you're going to love this video. I'll see you there.